G'day, my name is Patrick and I'm in Ronda, one of Spain's most famous Pueblo Blancos, or white villages.
Its quaint traditional architecture is surrounded by rolling hills and gorges, and it's also the home of modern-day bullfighting in Spain.
Join me in the Sierra de las Nieves to have a wander around this historic town and visit a traditional ranch.
Just having my favourite Spanish breakfast, particularly here in the south. It's very simple. It's olive oil, of course. This is the stuff that keeps the people of Spain and probably the country flowing and moving. Some garlic, and then just some tomato.
The symbol of the city is undoubtedly the Ponte Nuevo, or New Bridge. And despite being built in the late 1700s, given the city's history spans 3,000 years, the description new starts to make a little more sense. Ronda was ruled by the Moors up until 1485. Its highly defensible location, perched atop a gorge, made it a stronghold of Moorish culture very late into the Christian reconquest of the peninsula. The newest of three bridges spanning the El Tajo Gorge, it eventually gave Ronda room for expansion, connecting the old town and the new area called the Mercadillo. Located in the heart of town and predating the new bridge is the Ronda Plaza de Toros, Spain's only fully stone bullring with a fully covered spectator area. Ronda is home to two bullfighting dynasties, Ordóñez and Romero, who popularised and then codified the modern form of bullfighting, which has matadors facing the bulls on foot. And each year, a festival is held in their honour in September.
So here in Ronda, as well as in Sevilla, the sand is this very yellow colour. But if you head on up into Madrid, it gets a bit more orange or earthy or ochre. And then up in the north of the country, famously in Pamplona, it's almost like a rich red. And as you stand on this sandy arena, it's very easy to make the comparison to gladiatorial battles. It feels very much like the Colosseum.
My journey continued out to Reservatauro, a ganaderia or ranch that breeds Andalusian horses and bulls destined for the arena. I think when travelling, if you're doing it right, you're bound to come across customs and practices that challenge you and that don't necessarily align with your values. But I'm here to educate myself, so I've come with an open mind. The ranch is owned and managed by a still active matador, Rafael Tejada, and I'm being guided around by lovely Lady Paki and guardian dog, Lola.
Typically, bullfighters come from dynasties, and the tradition is passed from generation to generation. But Rafael Tejada is an exception to this. So he's an engineer, and he only came to the art form professionally at the age of 34. So here's a photo of him standing in the middle, and he's wearing what's known as the traje de luces, or the suit of light. And they're custom made to fit exactly the dimensions of the bodies of the matadors. So they want to be as tight as possible so that there's no loose fabric which might catch a horn as the bulls rush on by.
I moved out to the selection ring and learnt how they test the cows to be suitable breeding stock. They say with bulls, the muscular stature comes from the father, but the heart comes from the mother.
Call them the brave cows that are brought in here at about the age of 2. And they'll burst out here into the arena and they'll be faced by a bullfighter. But in this case, they're not going to harm the animal, they're just going to test for different characteristics. So the matador will be here in the middle of the arena. Behind these glass windows, you'll have the breeder, perhaps other bullfighters, but certainly aficionados, and they'll be evaluating the movement of the animal, the bravery of the animal, and the way that it emotes. See, this is what it's all about. It's not considered a sport, not even a blood sport. It's considered an art form here for the people that do love it.
We had a walk through the stables to meet some of the horses, the pura Raza Española, a result of mixing the Arabians with native Iberian horses over 1,000 years ago.
Pure Spanish Andalusian horses, straight. Arabs, they have like a round mouth.
Yes.
For example, the Lipizziana, they have like a hook. Yeah, it goes like that. And of course, their muscular neck. Yeah, that's also very, very typical for their pure Spanish Andalusian horses. Beautiful, it's so nice.
These horses were once war machines across Europe, but nowadays, people from across the world admire them for their grace, stamina, and dancing abilities on the dressage stage. The horses are athletes and are treated with the same care and science. The bulls live out in what is known as the dehesa, with little human intervention. The stud bull on this ranch was an indulto, meaning he was pardoned during a fight for his bravery.
Yeah.
They are a magnificent animal.
I'm just here in Mr. Tejada's training area, and I've had my first experience of lifting up the two different types of capes, and they're much, much heavier than I expected. And Paki has explained to me it's because of the wind. So if the wind lifts them up or sends them in a different direction, then that's going to encourage the bull to head in that direction. So you want them to be heavy, solid, and to stay where you want them to stay. So this is the magenta and almost mustardy yellow one that they use at the start. And this is the famous red cape, which is used in the final act of the bullfight. And I'm told that it's held up with one hand. And for me to do that, there's quite a significant strain on my forearm muscles here. So it's much heavier than I expected. So the bulls don't see colour, so it wouldn't matter if this was blue or red or black. It's the movement of the cape which attracts the bulls.
So what they do, either the bullfighter repeats the movements, yeah, without any help, without any animal, yeah, or somebody of his team comes here and moves the horns like a real bull, and that's how they can train daily, yeah, because at the end, that's the work of the bullfighter, to be able to understand the bull through his eyes and to get out the best out of the bull, so that the audience can get goosebumps, because that's the art of bullfighting. That you see a bull and you say, wow, look how he moves, look how he moves his muscles, his body, his head. It's so elegant, so noble, yeah? So the nobility of the bull is very important. My grandfather doing these mahanos, and they put them together so that...
I think it was Hemingway that wrote something like that any one thing that evokes so much passion is bound to have as many passionate voices against it. Sol y sombra, sun and shade, as they say here. Back in Ronda, I wandered the cherry blossom gardens and pondered on how much the place has changed since Ernest Hemingway and Orson Welles frequented the area. I imagined marauding bandits and determined rebels fighting against the Napoleonic invasion of the early 1800s. It's a land that inspires great passions and is clearly worth fighting for.
So my postcard cost 50 euro cents, and I've got an international stamp here, which was €1.50. So we've got the bull from today, as well as some of the touristy highlights of Ronda.
After sending my niece Myrtle a postcard, it is on to the next adventure. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and see you in the next one.